Hello, you are watching Shalom World News. I'm Rudy McLennan coming to you from Glasgow, Scotland. Here are the latest headlines from around the world. Pope Francis has expressed his closeness with victims of a deadly mine explosion in Siberia in Russia. In a telegram sent by Vatican Secretary of State Cardinal Pietro Parolin to the President of the Russian Federation Vladimir Putin, the Holy Father expressed his sadness over the incident. He assured his prayers for all who died and for those who mourn their loss. His Holiness also declared solidarity with those undertaking the recovery efforts and invoked the strength and peace of Almighty God. On Thursday morning, an explosion took place at Listvazhnaya coal mine in the Kemerovo region of Siberia, killing 51 people, including 46 miners and 5 rescue workers. The deadliest mine disaster since 2010. A total of 285 miners were present in the mine at the time of the explosion. Today, 2,446 cities worldwide will light up for the Cities for Life Day campaign against the abolition of the death penalty. Hosted by the Italian lay Catholic association, the Sant'Egidio Community, the campaign tries to raise awareness on the need to abolish the death penalty. On November the 30th every year, the organisation hosts this campaign to proclaim the dignity of the right to life. The day also marks the anniversary of the Grand Duchy of Tuscany becoming the first state in the world to ban torture and capital punishment in 1876. Even though many countries across the globe have abolished capital punishment, over 50% of the world's population lives in countries that still practice the death penalty. Ahead of the oral arguments regarding the constitutionality of Mississippi's Gestational Age Act in the U.S. Supreme Court, State Governor Tate Reeves has defended the state statute that protects the unborn. During a Meet the Press event organised by NBC, the Governor said he believes that Roe v. Wade was wrongly decided, saying, quote, "I believe in a simple reading of the United States Constitution, that when Roe was decided in 1973, there is no fundamental right in our United States Constitution to an abortion." Governor Reeves further added that 62 million infants had been aborted since Roe v. Wade was enacted in that year, emphasising the need to defend the unborn. The Supreme Court will hear oral arguments in the Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organisation lawsuit on December the 1st. If its outcome is favourable, it will pose a significant legal challenge to the Roe v. Wade ruling. The Dobbs case concerns the constitutionality of the Gestational Age Act, which prohibits selective abortion after 15 weeks of pregnancy. The biggest Catholic church in the Arabian Peninsula has been completed in Bahrain. The newly built Cathedral of Our Lady of Arabia will be opened on December the 9th by none other than the ruler of the island nation, His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa bin Salman Al Khalifa. Representing Pope Francis, Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle, Prefect of the Congregation for the Evangelization of Peoples, will be present during the opening ceremony, along with Archbishop Eugene Nugent, Apostolic Nuncio to Qatar, Kuwait and Bahrain, and Bishop Paul Hinder, Administrator of the Vicariate of Northern Arabia and Vicar Apostolic of the Vicariate of Southern Arabia. The cathedral and its 2 chapels are spread across a 9,000 square metre plot that was donated by the ruler of Bahrain. Many expatriate believers of all nationalities in the region contributed to the construction of the building. On December the 10th, the main altar and the cathedral, along with the 2 chapels, will be blessed in a solemn ceremony led by Cardinal Tagle. A Catholic archdiocese in Burkina Faso will soon receive a gift from the church in South Korea. That gift is none other than a portion of the first-class relics of Korean martyr St. Andrew Kim Tae-gon. A part of his mortal remains will be enshrined in the Archdiocese of Kupala as the Korean Church commemorates the 200th anniversary of the birth of the saint who was killed for refusing to renounce the faith in the 19th century. The Archdiocese of Seoul financially supports certain projects in the Archdiocese of Kupala. Recently, a parish in the eastern part of the African nation was renovated with funds from the Yeouido Dong parish in Seoul. Outgoing Archbishop of the South Korean capital, Cardinal Andrew Yom-soo-young, handed over the relics to Monsignor Julian Kabore, chargé d'affaires of the Apostolic Nunciature in Manila and a native of Kupala. Believers in Gaza are rejoicing over the decision of Israeli authorities to issue permits to hundreds of Palestinian Christians in the embargo-hit enclave to visit relatives in Jordan and parts of Israel during the Christmas holidays. On November the 24th, the Israeli Military Coordination for the Palestinian Territories announced that 500 exit permits would be issued to Gaza Christians. The church has also welcomed the decision of Israeli authorities to grant permits to residents of all age groups. For many years, Gaza residents aged between 16 and 35 were not granted permits to leave the enclave. Israeli soldiers at the Erez crossing currently decide whether or not to provide permission on religious grounds. The permits will be valid from December the 24th until January the 19th. Meanwhile, Gaza Catholics await the presence of Archbishop Pierbattista Pizzaballa, the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem, from December the 17th to the 19th for celebrations. On Sunday afternoon, several individuals gathered in Waukesha in the US state of Wisconsin for a prayer march to provide spiritual support to the victims and families affected by last week's Christmas parade tragedy, in which an SUV rammed into the parade, killing 5 and injuring scores of other people. The march began at St. Joseph's Catholic Church in Waukesha, led by Milwaukee Archbishop Jerome Listetsky. Father Matthew Widder of the Catholic Community of Waukesha, who was a part of the parade, also participated in the march as part of the healing process. Along the parade route, the Archbishop and marchers made 7 stops to honour the victims and their families. At each stop, priests offered prayers for the victims and their families also. The prayer march came to a close in the Veterans Park, with Archbishop Listetsky inviting the crowd to join him in reciting a prayer. As the fighting between Myanmar troops and ethnic militia in Chin State intensifies, a rights organisation has pointed out that as many as 49 buildings, including a church, have been damaged in shelling and arson by the military. According to the report by the Chin Human Rights Organisation, the Tantlang Centenary Baptist Church was torched by troops amid the shelling. The town is almost empty, as more than 10,000 residents fled after government troops stepped up the attack. Fighting between ethnic pro-democratic forces such as the Chinland Defence Force and the Burmese military is ongoing. Many people have been killed in the army airstrikes and shelling, with soldiers also detaining civilians. According to various church sources and local human rights groups, at least 22 churches have been burned or destroyed by the military in Chin State between August and November. And those are your latest headlines. Do join us again tomorrow. In the meantime, you can visit swnews.org for more updates. Shalom.